Alright, so today is going to be a vertical one. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see if I can a little bit for you. Is that a whole lot better? Let me do it one more time. The camera working good. Awesome. So today is going to be a little bit different in our post because there's some things I didn't do today that I did on past days. But I do have something to add on as an addition that I achieved today. And I want to show you the elephant fail. I've had somebody that told me they think I can recover it. They've given me some suggestions. And I'm going to try to recover it. And I can't promise anybody anything. But I thought, I show you the ones that are successful. I should show you the ones that are failed. And that's what I'm going to do today. So a little bit of everything. Not sponsored, but it's another Diet Mountain Dew day. And before you all get in here, I'm going to go ahead. EST 150. Let's see if we can hear a hum. It means I've met the goal for that week, and we can move it to the next higher level. Didn't hear it. Wonder if I had to break for a second. So if you don't know what this little invention is, it says help your strengthen your muscles, because when you have a voice issue, it sometimes, if it's not mechanical, it's because you're not releasing air in the strong enough voice to keep a voice up. So this helps you. You can use this though for a lot of things. Swimming, singing, marathon races, or recovering from, like I have, a fire. We're going to try it this way for the next 5 just to see if it works. Didn't get it either way, but I did try. Today's actually my down day when it comes to MSD, but I thought I would go ahead and do the little bit of a test where I got in here. So for my thing, I'm going to do another day and talk about what makes a nursing home quality nursing home. Now, this is going to vary from place to place, but my family's been in nursing homes. I've been in nursing homes. I've been in 4 different nursing homes that I've resided in. 3 for recovering and 1 for this long distance I've been in. My great-grandmother was in for several years. After she turned 100, she spent several years in a nursing home. My mom was in this nursing home. My grandmother actually lived in a nursing home and passed away in that nursing home. So all 3 of them in their final days lived in nursing homes where they passed away. My greatest fear is I'm going to be in that. Not only do I have that experience in my own, I have experience where my dad was in several times and what happened to him. So literally there's a lot of things that go better than the others. So I've got 3 tiers I'm going to discuss. And I'm going to start with the lowest tier first to get it over with so I don't have to think about that one as I go up into these other levels. The first level, the bottom of the barrel, is where patient care is not quality, not low, disgraceful, to not enough staff to deal with the patients, not enough kind staff to deal with the patients, and an overall mistrust of the residents and the caregivers. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but there are some nursing homes that the patient care is not there. And what happens a lot of times is family isn't involved, so there's no pressure to get them to a higher level. Families aren't coming in, they're dropping off the door and leaving, as I call it, and never seeing, never wanting to see their loved ones. So, a loved one might be telling them what's going on. There's not people there to push the fire to overcome that. So I spent 45 days in one of these facilities. I was told it was the only one that would take me. It was horrendous. It was awful. It was the worst experience of my entire life. And literally, I fled. I was coming up where I would have the last day covered by Medicare. And I literally took and called my caregiver, told him I was escaping. They wouldn't even give me medicines that were my own medicines. They wouldn't give me doctor's orders. I went, and 2 days later, we discovered that I had a urinary tract infection that was caused from the poor care in the nursing home. I'd been sick, throwing up. We didn't know what was going on. We couldn't get answers. I wasn't getting therapy. It was really bad. And I'm someone that can speak out. Just imagine how many people were there that couldn't speak out. So that's bottom of the barrel. Now let's talk about the top level. The top level nursing home is one that is patient-centered. Now, what I mean by that is everything is around making the accommodations not just a nursing home, but a home. They worry about everything from nail care, hair care, visitations, outside visitors like from churches, hospital groups, dog groups that can bring in pets. They treat the patients more as a true resident or occupant of the nursing home. So what happens, I've lived in one of these. It was awesome. So what happens is consensus of the people every single day. Everyone got out of their bed that could. Now, there were some that couldn't. But if you could get out of your bed, you were in your chair for certain amounts of the day. And that was done, and I don't know how it's done now since COVID. I don't know how they're able to do or keep that up or not able to. I would say it would have been a shock on the residents over there, over any other facility that I've been in, to not have family being able to come in. It was kind of, I call it my beer and wine nursing home. I went the second time when I rehabilitated my knees because of how great this facility was. And it was a beer, wine, cheese, charcuterie board, I can't say it with my magic teeth, but it was one of those kind of places. And everyone was totally fascinated in the care. And, it was just from the church choirs to the dog visits. Anything and everything in between, that's what we experienced. A couple days a week, they would have wine and movies. They would have special events every day, different activities. More like, I was there for therapy, but there was so many activities that I was doing 3 to 4 hours a day of therapy and still able to do activities because they're that frequent in the facility. Late at night, they would have a movie that you could watch. They made sure just that there was things going on, not just a 9 to 5 time, but throughout the time and on the weekends and everything. So the CNAs, there was like 1 to 6. So most places are 1 to 10, 1 to 11. 1 to 10 is, I think, the most you can have in the state of Kentucky, or maybe it's 12. Not really sure. I had 6, 1 for every 6. So that meant that there was more patient care on a constant basis. So things like that made it a little bit upscale. Plus, they didn't take Medicaid as often as other nursing homes. They were more concentrated on the, as I put it, bougie medical care. If you didn't notice, my door's open up and down behind me because I'm actually getting a cleaning while we're doing the live stream. So hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
See? So that's kind of funny when it goes on behind you. So that's what I call a bougie nursing home. Most nursing homes can't live that way. Most nursing homes cannot live in that type of setting. They don't have a way of doing it. And even when they try, to do it, it's usually not, I'm sure I haven't missed any other like chats. Okay. Even when they try to do stuff that much, they just can't, because really, when you're dependent on funding from Medicare and Medicaid, there's a lot of things you can't afford in keeping a nursing home going. So since they weren't dependent on Medicare or Medicaid, it was a much different situation because they did things because they could afford more things. So that's another reason that they did one thing better in the howdy, Darren. I'm kind of explaining some of the stuff, nuances right now, nursing home, and then I'm going to show them a picture of the day. So hopefully you'll stay around and help us pick the picture of the day. So you have the worst in that they don't care about the patients. The CNAs are just there. They don't care. They don't answer call lights. They don't even put trays over top people that can't get to them. Like, I was in a bed. I couldn't walk at this point in time. It was right after my sepsis, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand. I couldn't transfer out of my bed without someone there. I can't tell you the number of times that the tray would be put, the bedside tray, because they would bring the one bedside tray up and give it to my roommate. And then it was time for my bedside tray, and they would just leave it at the end of the room. There I am, not even able to reach the my tray. So their quality of care was mainly Medicaid recipients, and even with Medicaid recipients, you don't have to be jerks about care, but they were. They didn't care about patients. They, it was just from being in the bougie place, then going to there, night and freaking day. Now I want to talk about the majority of nursing homes. Ones that aren't bad, ones that aren't bougie, ones that have this base of residents. They have Medicare and Medicaid, they have straight payout, they have higher grade insurances, sometimes they have, yeah. So sometimes they have different levels of, the patients aren't all coming in the same way. And so they have a little extra money than people that just have Medicaid. But then they don't have tons of money because they do have a lot of Medicaid. But what you will have in these majority of homes, you'll have the proper amount of care per resident. So in your state, it might be 10 residents a CNA can have. It might be 12. Yes, and that's sort of, I'm giving my perspective because I'm I'm living in a nursing home right now. And I thought it would be a good thing to share a different perspective. The majority of nursing homes that are in that middle section, there's no way the quality of care is there. They're try to do certain amounts of activities to keep the patients involved. They have caring nurses, CNAs. They often, you will know, once you've been there a while, you will know all the social workers, the front office staff. You'll know the people that you get your money from, the activities. You might have already met the dietitian. If there's therapy, you've already had therapy in your room. All that in the first couple of days. It's so overwhelming because this is just the midline nursing home. Now they might not do activities all day long. They might only do 2 a day. Sometimes they might do 3 a day. You gotta remember you're only gonna have a limited number of activities. The food is going to be, it's not going to be below par. You're going to be able to eat it. It's just not bougie. The bougie one, you picked out your meals every day. The other one, they served like a general meal. The third one, that was just neglect on the bottom layer. So, a COVID thing that has affected care for the midline nursing home resident is with COVID, you automatically see the number of activities drop because people can't be together in the nursing home. You'll see the fact that there'll be less people out of the roaming around because, again, they're in their rooms because of COVID. But even in a mid-grade facility, which, like I said, most are in that mid-grade, they're still going to have activities available. They might come to the room and bring colorings. They might bring word finds. They might bring small crafts for you to do. They'll just come and sit and talk to you every once in a while. So this midline is a good place. Some things could be better, and a lot of things could be worse. But in general, a midline nursing home is a nursing home that everyone hopes their person gets into. And here's where things come into place. How do you know when you have a top line or middle or a basement? How do you know as you're putting your level in facility? Say your level one has Alzheimer's. How do you know that person is going into a facility that is in the midline? You don't have to have them drinking alcohol or doing 20 activities a day. One a day's good, two a day's good. Getting out of the rooms, being able to walk around in a safe environment, as long as there's bells that'll go off if they open the doors and stuff. Things like that are important. So, how do you know? Well, here's where things get a little tricky. You might look on the internet, and in the internet you can get things like, I call it the reports, the reviews. There's two kinds of reviews. People that love a place, people hate a place. The midline people are just midline and they don't make comments. So if you have some people that are very strongly liking a place, their reviews will be magnificent. And if you have a place where people strongly hate it, their reviews will be terrible. You don't see the midline in those situations. You just see the lovers and the haters. And sometimes the ones that are hating might be a vengeance because of a job. It might be someone that has opened multiple Google accounts to slam someplace. Even with good reports, that could be staff that's writing them and not family members. So where do you go? Where do you find this midline? Where do you go? Especially if you have a patient that you can't communicate with, that they don't know the situation going on. And you want to make sure that everyone that you are dealing with has the same care. Well, here comes a secret. You can get reports of the facility from the state, and you can ask for things like the commission studies, the state studies, all the federal studies. You can ask to see those files before you place them. And what you're looking for is cleanliness, the overall content of the residents, no signs of abuse. You're checking out things like the safety. Are the doors working with the bells, or do they have special things? I call them the ankle bracelets, so that they can keep track of patients. How is the safety been high? Then you can find your midline. So all that being said is, when you go in, be an advocate. Now, if you are like me and you can speak up for yourself, don't stay someplace where it's bad. Even if you don't know where you'll go, hunt and find someplace different. Secondly, if you can't afford the bougie, don't feel bad about it. Most people can't afford the bougie. Your goal is to find that middle ground. And if you've never been in a nursing home, like, trying to figure out a middle ground might seem hard. So this is how you figure out if you're in a middle ground facility. Everything is taken care of and you have no worries. You met a midline facility. So there you go, the update, the nursing home study for the day. And I can talk to people if they have questions about how to get information. So with all that being said, 20 minutes in, it's time for the picture reveal. Are you ready to see the picture reveal, guys? Got a little something special today in the picture reveal. So, let me get my, I'm gonna get me a gimbal. I just don't know exactly when. I've been looking. I'm gonna pull this off.